we can see the guests are offering flowers. I request everyone to rise in their seat and welcome, with a huge round of applause, kindly welcome Honorable D.K.Hari and Dr. HemaHari, founders, BharathGyan, Chennai. I kindly request guests and dignitaries to accept their chairs. It is now time to follow our age-old tradition of Atiti Devo Bhava. I request revered Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir to felicitate and welcome the dignitaries on the dais. First, I would like to request sir to felicitate the founders of BharathGyan Chennai, Dr. D.K.Hari. A big round of applause. Founders of BharathGyan, Chennai, Dr. D.K.Hari. The round of applause should continue. Dr. HemaHari. And husband and wife duo over here, Dr. D.K.Hari and Dr. HemaHari, founders of BharathGyan, Chennai. A big round of applause. Thank you very much. Friends, we are delighted to have amongst us Honorable Dr. D.K.Hari and Dr. HemaHari, founders BharathGyan, Chennai, eminent author and TEDx speakers, forerunner in Indian civilization and knowledge studies. Before we invite them for the orientation lecture, I would take the honors to introduce them. Honorable Dr. D.K.Hari and Dr. HemaHari, founders, BharathGyan Chennai, are a husband and wife duo who have dedicated their lives to the study and dissemination of Indian civilization knowledge. They are the founders of BharathGyan, a non-profit organization that aims to raise awareness about the knowledge, practices, and global connects of Indian civilization over millennia. Dr. Hari, born in Kanchipuram, India, holds a PhD in business administration. He has extensive experience in the corporate world, having worked for over 20 years in management and IT. Dr. Hari is a passionate advocate for the preservation of Indian heritage and culture. Dr. HemaHari, born in Mysore, India, holds a double degree in physics and computer technology. She has worked as an information technology professional for over 20 years. Dr. Hari is deeply interested in scientific and technological achievements of ancient India. Together, Dr. Hari and Dr. HemaHari have authored over 100 books and produced over 500 hours of multimedia content on Indian civilization. They have also delivered over 1,000 lectures and workshops on the subject. Their work has been widely praised for its clarity, depth, and accessibility. So please put your hands together as we invite Dr. Hari and Dr. HemaHari.
Thank you so much. Good evening to all of you. I'd like to thank distinguished Sir, Professor Dr. Vishnath for inviting us for this very prestigious lecture series. And also we'd like to thank Mr. Ishwar Krishna Iyer for Dr. Ishwar for introducing us to this institution, and to the Vice Chancellor for so kindly inviting us here. Thank you so much. We'll get to the subject of the evening quickly, which is about knowledge and what, because when they gave us the brief about the subject, she immediately, my wife Dr. Hema, said, this would be an ideal, because when you're talking about Sant Jnaneshwar series, obviously it has to be knowledge. From that we took it on. Please go ahead. So, and this is a land of the Sahyadri, water, so thought it can connect both for the subject.
So we are going to actually start with some very interesting fact about peace, because this whole program itself is in the quest of peace, world peace. And in this institute, this is the right place to also seed this beautiful, interesting fact. We have all, I'm sure we have noticed that the sea, which we call Pacific, it's coming, it's coming. So, yeah.
The largest ocean of the world, what we call Pacific Ocean. That's the largest water body in the world. But have you seen that it starts from Pacific, pacify, peace. Obviously, it speaks about peace. This university, the life mission, the motto is all about peace here. But also at the same time, look at this. What did we call it in our traditional language? We called it Shanti Sagar. Look at the beauty of it. So the idea of peace, and that extend all the way, because we traverse those seas, not now millennia ago, not centuries ago, but millennia ago, and we saw it as Shanti Sagar. So that is what has come down to us in the English language as the Pacific Ocean over the last few centuries.
Now, peace and harmony, they go together, right? Yet another very interesting twist itself in the idea of what is peace, what is harmony, and the other, the idea of the other. See, when we're talking about peace, there is always two. You're trying to come in peace with something else. So there is a notion of the other that you're trying to bring within your boundaries, within your boundaries of harmony. And this concept of the other actually is very interesting.
So when you say peace, Shanti, look at the concept of peace and Shanti here. It's very interesting. When you look at how divinities are looked at the world over, across millennia, let's see. When you see what we call devil is divine for some. What is divine for some is devil for the other. So the root word is what? The root bija shabda, bija akshara is div. Itself being divine, dev, divya tampati, div. Div meaning to glow. That's what it to shine. So div. So for both, it is, but across centuries and millennia, it keeps on changing. For some which is divine becomes div. Because if you look at the classic case of the Poseidon, which is pagan, it just got a trident. Similarly, if you look at the Satan, the devil is also got a trident. So the concepts keep changing. I mean, the concepts are common, but the nomenclatures keep changing across.
The perspective keeps changing.
Very good. The drishtikon, as we say in Hindi, keeps on changing. That is what is something we'll have to understand. The same, this is not limited only to the word divine. Let's look at the other word that we have. Shant, Shanti, Satan, Sat, Sant, Satya. This also keeps on changing. But the root is similar, same. It changes with time. That's the beauty of it. The interchangeability is what we see. So the peace, Shanti, is a fundamental factor, but the perspectives, the drishtikons is what keep changing over years. Across geographies too, across thoughts, that's what it is we see in this. And if you see, One other place we saw from the west perspective. Let's look at from the east perspective. Let's look at Japan now. How did the Japanese civilization, an equally ancient civilization, look at this?
So fundamentally, this part of the world actually has been for millennia propagating the idea of peace and harmony. And that you can see beautifully in this poem that our former late president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, when in the European Union, he had actually quoted a Tamil poem. And Dr. Ishwar Iyer here will be able to appreciate that. It's a Sangam poetry. And he said, many of you would be familiar by now because it's
been
put up
popular on YouTube.
popularized a lot in media as well. Where there is righteousness in the heart, there is beauty in the character. When there is beauty in the character, there is harmony in the home. When there is harmony in the home, there is an order in the nation. When there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. So he's starting with, this is the Sangam poet. The Sangam poet, many millennia ago, he's starting with the heart, then growing to the character, which is the persona. From there, he's growing to the home, the family. From there, he's taking it to the level of the nation and then the world itself. So he is building up harmony, saying that at every level, you have to have harmony within yourself and your persona and home, and each level he's taking it. And these ideas of harmony you will find beautifully picked up by other civilizations. We are going to have the next session as leadership in peace. So this is a civilization which has been a leader in world peace, and the best example is the constitution, the first constitution of Japan.
Japan has taken a leaf from the Indian thought of harmony. Look at this. This is about 1500 years ago. Prince
Shotoku, he created the first constitution for Japan. It was a 17-clause constitution. But amidst all these 17 clauses, which was the first and primary clause, it was that about harmony. So he speaks that harmony is to be valued and the avoidance of wanton opposition to be honored. And that forms the first clause of the Japanese first constitution. And even today, we have met people in Japan who they may not remember those 17 clauses, but they all still remember that their constitution speaks about harmony.
First clause, which comes from Bodhisena, an Indian scholar who went from India to Japan. He took this with him. So the idea of Shanti, peace, harmony, look, all this, it's traversed across the world from Bharat. We have shared this idea. So when you say Vishwaguru, look at this, really the idea of sharing a noble thought which has survived for 1500 years in a land which is Saat Samundar ke paar. That's the beauty of it, and the basic idea is harmony.
So then now the question will arise, so this harmony, why should we keep speaking about this harmony? Why should we keep re-emphasizing the idea of peace and harmony? Because this is very sensitive. It is highly prone to disturbance. And when can this happen? Typically, if you look at it, always peace and harmony gets disturbed with the presence of a scarcity. Look at it, presence of a scarcity. Scarcity means absence, but here I'm saying presence of an absence. So scarcity, if you see, is what typically triggers strife, and from this stems lot of conflicts. So
The other
our
steps in.
civilization had therefore understood. See, we have been a civilization, if you look at it, with a psyche of prevention. Do whatever you can to prevent bad. That has been the thing. You will see that even in Ayurveda, Swastha Vrita first, then go to Atura Vrita, but focus on prevention. And how do you prevent scarcity? By having abundance. The only way to prevent scarcity and therefore disturbance to peace through conflicts is through building abundance. And that is what something that this civilization has been masters at.
Consistently doing. So when you say Karma Yoga, this we've been creating abundance. Let's see that over the next few slides.
And to do that, what they had done was they had got a good handle about understanding what is existence. They spoke about matter, mind, spirit, consciousness. So all of
Science
these,
and spirituality intertwining.
so all of these we had got a handle on this, and this comes all the way from our Upanishad in the form of the Taittiriya Upanishad and the idea of a Panchakosha. And look at this Panchakosha, how it has actually molded even the world of today is something that we will see now.
See, it's Taittiriya Upanishad is old, ancient by millennia, but that concept of Panchakosha is valid today and taught even now as a fundamental basis of management. We'll see that in the next 2 minutes.
Yes, just one moment, I'll pick that up. So these are all the various capsules that we have combined.
See, as she said, it's 5 levels. Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manamaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, leading all the way up to Anandamaya Kosha, the fundamental foundation. This is mentioned in Taittiriya Upanishad. And it's valid for, it's a 5-level sheet, valid for individual, a community, a civilization, a country, an organization, everything. This is as old, but let's also see its application now. Who brought it forth in modern use, modern management? Abraham Maslow. He speaks of the same theories in New York 70 years ago, in 1950s. This is the foundation of behavioral science and management. But how did it come about? How did Abraham Maslow bring this about in New York 70 years ago, which is there in our Taittiriya Upanishad for the last 4,000, 5,000 years and more? That's the question.
So his parents were Jewish immigrants from Russia, and that's how he lands up in America. And he admits that this is an idea, this perspective, he has got it from the Indian Upanishads. And he did his study on human behavior, and he said that the first level is comfort, that you feel comfortable that you have everything with you, then you feel safe, then you need once you have the security, physical security, you have a security of a group, then your ego, identity is satisfied, and that's when you realize yourself. So what we are trying to tell you here is that in whether you say from Panchakosha of Taittiriya Upanishad or you look at Maslow's hierarchical needs, the fundamental, the pinnacle is bliss, peace, ananda, balance,
harmony, balance.
But the foundation for this lies in your Annamaya Kosha. So that is where we keep coming back, that if you want peace, you have to ensure that your Annamaya Kosha, there is no scarcity there, that there is abundance there. And what is Annamaya Kosha again? Now here, if you look at the point of Annamaya Kosha and the whole Panchakosha itself, this is, as the Taittiriya Upanishad says, for any individual, one being, not just man, all forms of living beings. The same is applicable to a civilization as well, because a civilization is also a living entity. How can a group formed by living people not be living too? It has its own collective consciousness as well. So a civilization is also a living being, and that also has its Panchakosha.
It has a collective character. An individual has character, a civilization has a collective character. Look at that. And this is what Maslow also brings forth.
And the natural resources of the civilization, its assets, physical assets, natural assets, and all its various flora, fauna, everything, including the people, that forms the Annamaya Kosha of the civilization, because that is what is nourishing the civilization. So this is the layer that we have to focus on if we also want to look at peace at the final level of at the pinnacle of the civilization and its interactions with other civilizations.
But the point now to go back is, how did Maslow really get to this? Ancient Taittiriya Upanishad idea is what we will see now. Quickly, because he is obviously from Russia. Look at this. What do we call for butter in the Indian language? Makkan. What do you call it in Persia? Maska, maska chaska. What do you call that in Russian? Maslow. Look at the idea. So very similar. So the idea of oil seller, a butter seller, a ghee seller, curd seller is called Maslow in Russian language. So there's a concept of connectivity between the three civilizations. Makkan chor, maska mat dalo, makkan chahiye, Maslow. So there was a trade connect with that language connect. Obvious language connect is there. What goes with it? Ideas go with it. When a trade happens, ideas go along with it, and obviously the same set of traders have traveled. This we have brought out in our book Indo-Russia to explain further. So there was very clear, so the idea of Maslow's Annamaya Kosha to the hierarchical theory is actually very buttery connect, utterly butterly connect, if you can say it in the modern language. Certainly it is the beauty of, look at it, it's amazing, isn't it? But unless you know that in the Russian language, Maslow means butter, and there's a connect, we can't string it back. You have to know the various points to string back. And actually, this was told to me by the Russian ambassador to India that see this connect. We had spoken theory, but he was who actually pointed it out to us in the Russian house.
So now that brings us to the question. So we are able to see that we need to strengthen our Annamaya Kosha if we also want to have a good Anandamaya Kosha, especially when we are talking about peace and peace in civilization at a civilization level. So how do we strengthen that? What is it that can give us the bounty? So if you look at all the things that make up our Annamaya Kosha of our civilization, a civilization, fundamentally it will boil down to water being the essence. He's drinking water at the right moment. So water being the essence of strengthening that Annamaya Kosha.
Apaha is waters. In our terms, Apaha, obviously Punjab, Doab, all the Apaha. The idea is that very clearly. So let's look at waters.
So
now,
here we will play two very short films for you that we have made about water. Because how do we get our water? Fundamentally, through our Varsha, right? Through our rains.
So obviously she said one thing, you call rains as Varsha. What else do you call as Varsha? A year is also Varsha. What else do you call Varsha? Our land is Varsha, Bharata Varsha. So 1 year is Varsha, our geographical land is Varsha, our rain is Varsha. So we have Varsha, Varsha, Varsha. Let's look at this now. It's a beautiful connect at the Annamaya Kosha level. That's a basic harmony product. It's a harmony among the three names.
Have you ever wondered why we call our land as Bharata Varsha? We call rain as Varsha. We call a year also as Varsha. What is the connect between these three Varsha?
In this whole world, after the Amazon forests, the one single landmass that gets the highest rainfall consistently year after year is Bharat Varsha, which is India. The onset of monsoon rains, Varsha, which came the same time every year, marked a year for the farmers in the agrarian society of Bharat. Hence, Varsha also came to denote the concept of a year.
Thus, we see a distinct connection between rain, year and land. Rain is Varsha, year is also Varsha. The land over which this rain Varsha rained prosperity year on year is also Bharat Varsha.
Look at the beautiful connect, isn't it? So this is what gives us our basic Annamaya Kosha. This is what gives our basic harmony, basic prosperity. Any ladies here with the name Varsha? Yes, she'll be so proud of it. I can't see, but still. So you must be so proud of your name. And it's got such a wonderful meaning. Please share it with all your family and friends.
Now, after she sees this next film, she's going to really feel even more proud, and so are all of us. Okay? Now, I grew up in Mumbai, and I remember every June 13th, I would promptly, my school would reopen. I would go downstairs, stand in front of my building for the school bus with a new raincoat, my black rain shoe, waiting for, and because it would rain consistently, June 13th, it is rain in Mumbai.
And
Many
June
of you, I'm
15th
sure, from Mumbai. So
and
you
June
all might-
15th, it will rain in Pune.
Yes.
June 1st, it will rain in Thiruvananthapuram, which is Sri Iyer's hometown. June 5th, it will rain in Mangaluru. June 7th, 8th, it will rain in Goa. June, as she says, 12th, 13th in Mumbai. June 17th, 18th in Surat, Baroda. By June 20th in Ahmedabad. Is there any calendar in the sky? Why should it rain every year June 13th in Mumbai, June 15th in Pune? Where's the sky? Where's the calendar in the sky? Is there any calendar? Why should it? June 1st means it rains in Thiruvananthapuram. The first question any Malayali will ask is, Naatla Mada Undo? That's what it means. Is it raining in our land? That's what they'll. So that's the idea. So, so it's got a clear geographical calendar. But where is the clock? Where is the calendar in the sky? Is it magic? Is it divine? Is it natural? How? Why should it rain on June 1st? Every year June means monsoon time. Why?
Now let's see that secret.
Let's see the magic of that. Recently we had an India-Australia match. From that we'll see.
We have set the music also to match the rain rags. So this is one of the Malhar rags. The earlier was from the South Indian Amrita Varshini. So please enjoy the rag also.
So just a short 3-minute film.
Why does it rain every year on this land without fail? What are the forces of nature that bring this rain to this land every year?
In the month of May, there is summer in the northern hemisphere. In the interiors of India, temperatures soar to 45 degrees centigrade and even more. In Sahara Desert, the temperature range is between 45 degrees to 50 degrees centigrade. This extreme heat causes low pressure. During this time, it is winter in the southern hemisphere. The great Australian desert is cooler and hence high pressure prevails there. It is well known that winds always move from high pressure to low pressure. So the cool winds move from central Australia in a northwesterly direction towards the hot Sahara Desert. As the winds cross the equator, they turn right in consonance with nature due to the Earth's spin, which is explained as Farrell's law. Picking up moisture along the way from the Indian Ocean, the moisture-laden winds blow in towards India, thereby bestowing monsoon rains all over the land.
So look at the beauty of it. The moment we have heavy summer in the northern hemisphere, it's winter there. So there is a flow of air. But the moment it crosses the equator, because of the earth is curved, obviously it's a ball. Boo gola. It's not boo flat. Or it's not boo triangle, boo conical. It is circle. So what happens? Like our spinner's ball spins in cricket, it turns, it curves. So what happens? Actually the clouds, meant for Sahara, turns and comes here to pour for us. That's how we get our monsoon rain. The English word monsoon comes from the Arabic word mausam. Mausam, monsoon. That's how the word comes from. So that's how we get the rain. So if you have a good summer, you will have a good rains as well. So let us not blame a good hot summer, because that is what leads you to the copious rains as well. That is what you should understand here.
But now comes the moot point. What have, especially a saint like Swami Vivekananda, he is repeatedly called Bharat by one particular name, one particular title. What is that word he has used for Bharat? Which all our ancestors, we also use it, our parents will say, we have always called Bharat a Punya Bhumi, correct? How many of us have heard this? And how many of us, how many times our parents will keep telling us, you don't know the value of having been born in this Punya Bhumi. They'll always keep telling you, right? Right from a childhood. So Punya Bhumi, Bharat, Punya Bhumi, Bharat, Punya Bhumi. Why is this a Punya Bhumi?
Yes, we pray to different gods, we are spiritual, we are religious, we are harmonious, we are peaceful, all that. But also think from a not geopolitical angle, but purely from a geographical angle. Suppose this land Bharat, this subcontinent of Bharatavarsha is 5 degrees latitude west or east, or 5 degrees longitude north or south. Would you get this rain?
See, this cloud, which is actually meant for the deserts here,
Sahara, Arabian Sahara,
is coming, and because the earth is round and bulging, the winds turn inward, and therefore they change direction and come this way. Now, if India were not here,
somewhere else,
would you get this rain?
would you get this monsoon? Think
And
for a
then
moment.
again, this monsoon, actually the beauty of this monsoon is we always get it after our summers, which helps crops and other things grow. If we had got the rains before summer and the summer were to come after the rain, imagine what would happen.
It would
Everything
evaporate
all,
away.
all the waters would evaporate. It would
Evaporate
become
away.
hot after that. Whereas the rain is coming after summer and you have this entire stretch of good salubrious weather, climate, for everything to grow beautifully and get a good harvest.
Anybody with the name Ritu here, any lady? Look at the idea of Ritu, season, how it comes, cyclical season. And look at the English word rhythm, comes from the Indian word Ritu. So it has to follow a cycle, a system, a season by which it follows and comes. So we get the rain accordingly. That's the beauty of this land. That's the amazing beauty of this land.
So, by virtue of its geographical position, we automatically become endowed and become a Punya Bhumi. Now, okay, the clouds.
I know, madam, we are interrupting, but I think the most respected, the world celebrated management guru, Professor Ramcharan. Let us welcome Professor Ramcharan. He taught in Harvard Business School. He is a Baker Scholar, and so many important positions he has decorated and guided the largest corporations of the world, you know, in our country, all the Reliance and all those big important groups. He's guiding many such corporate leaders in the country. And of course, you all are aware that at our campus, sir, we have established in his name, Ramcharan School of Leadership. So what a great fortune that today he is here to have a dialogue with our beloved founder, Dr. BharathGyan, sir. So let us welcome once again Professor Ramcharan. Thank you.
Namaste, sir. So, this is yet another punya that we are having, that we have his august presence with us today. We are honored indeed to be sharing the dais with him. So, look at this. India by virtue, Bharat by virtue of its presence at this particular spot, automatically becomes a punya bhumi. Now, the next question will be, if the clouds turn and just pass over India, is it enough? Will it rain? The clouds are passing over so many other spaces. Why does it rain over Bharat? What causes it to rain over Bharat? And if that were not there, what would happen to Bharat? You know, we really are a Punya Bhumi in many, many ways. And here is where you will actually see spirituality and science being intertwined. The science is not a subject. Science is nature. Science is truth.
Prakriti.
Prakriti. And what we understand of it is what we call as a subject science. But
Vijnana.
the truth is the reality, and that reality doesn't distinguish between spirituality or geography or the actual physics. It is there and it is happening. And here is what we will see, because you in Pune are at the closest to what causes that rain.
No, she asked a very particular question. Okay, it picks up, the wind starts from Australia, goes towards Arabia, it crosses the equator, turns right, India's geographically placed there, so it comes there, it's a Punya Bhumi, all that. But why should that cloud, and it crosses the Indian Ocean where it picks up all the moisture. So it's very moisture-laden winds that's coming in here. But why should it pour over this land? Why can't it just go straight to China? Why can't it go to Korea, Japan? Why should it pour here? That is the moot point. And what do we call our range of hills here? Not Western Ghats, that's an English name. What do we call it by our own name? Sahyadri. Why is it? Why do we call it Sahyadri? Adri is obviously hills. And it is Sahaya Adri, meaning helpful. What is the help that Sahaya Adri does for our ancestors to call it Sahayadri? That's the moot question here. See, while it's a spiritual question, but it's also very, very scientific, geographical question. And look at, they knew both, they intertwined both to understand and name it accordingly. Let's look at the idea of Sahayadri. See, because the rains come, they come so much with the clouds. What happens? They are very heavy. The moment it comes and hits the tall range of Sahyadri, they pour the rain, some amount of it, in the western side. When it becomes a little lighter, it climbs up. When it climbs up, it starts pouring once again. And on the leeward side, it pours the balanced rains. So it is helpful in lifting the moisture-laden clouds, winds, because that wind has to go, because the next wind is coming. Then the next wind is coming by the hour with the same moisture winds. Okay. So it has to move fast. So you understand that. So it's continuously raining and pouring, and that's how Sahyadri. Look at this, we named it knowing it. And from there, it goes to all over India, Vindhyachal, everywhere it meets.
This after Sahyadri, the rain, the clouds, they can just pass away, right? They can just come, go over and just move away. But look at this land topography again. So after they cross this Sahyadri, this block, and they come inside, the clouds are moving in this direction. So what do they hit next? They hit this range called the Vindhyas, which are across. So it causes rains in this belt. And after the Vindhyas, what happened? They rise here, they go further, then they have the Himalayas. So if it were not for the Sahyadri, we would not have got the rains. If it were not for the Vindhya, the central part won't get the rains. And if it's not for the Himalayas, this entire plain would not get the rains.
That's why it's called Shivalik, the first range, because Shivalik means abounding in life.
Mangalam.
Flora and fauna. That's why it rains. Because look at this land itself is Vastu compliant, because the moment the clouds come here, it traps it with hills on all sides, and it has to drop the moisture in this land. That's the beauty of this land.
So literally all the moisture it's picking, it's dropping it on this land. And if you don't have bounty, then what else can you have?
That is why you have the idea of Annamaya Kosha built in here. Look at the beauty of it. That's which is said in the Taittiriya Upanishad. This is a foundational basis. And this is the gradient of the land, which is from the Sahyadri gradients down towards eastward.
So the Deccan Plateau actually slopes towards the east. So these rains, even though they come from the west, the water that falls here waters the entire peninsula all the way to the east. Look at the number of rivers that you have here. in this land just because of this gradient.
Look at this.
All the
way
rivers
our
rising
body
here.
has veins. The land of Bharat has veins. Look at the beauty of it. The number of watersheds we have. So, right from the Ganga in the north to the Tamrabarani. See, because Professor Vishwanath Kant, he showed us a film before we came here about how
Saraswati River.
he started. So, that is at the north. So, from there to south, we have a beautiful water system in India which makes it the Annamaya Kosha, where the water is there for the food grains to grow. That's the beauty of it. Now, this is the land of Deccan. You have an area called Deccan here. The only city where you have a Deccan Gymkhana, Deccan area, everything. Have you ever thought, why is it called Deccan? Have you all ever thought? Because this is the knowledge point. It's a catalyst to knowledge. That's the subject of our, why is it knowledge point? What is the significance of the term Deccan? How did the English word Deccan come about? Why do we use the concept of Deccan? Let's see that for the next 2 minutes.
So if you trace the word Deccan backward, the English word Deccan is actually from the Bharatiya word in all languages, Dakshin. Okay, Dakshin meaning south. Now why is Dakshin called south? Because imagine when you are standing in a ground and you're just looking up at the sky, the horizon, from horizon to horizon, it's like a bow on top of your Dhanur. It's like a dhanush above your head. Now, let's say you're facing east, okay, because we normally take one direction as a reference, and we have always taken east where the sun rises as our reference point. Now, if you are standing facing the east, then which is the direction to your south? The one on your right side.
The one to your right is your?
So what does your right side denote? Your right side always stands for ability, skill. In most people, usually people are all right-handed. So anything that you do skillfully is associated with the right hand. And
of course, some are ambidextrous. Sabyasachi, that's a different thing because Arjuna was also few were.
So what is the word for skillful? In another word for skillful in English? Dexterity. Dexterous. And look at where this word shares its root. Daksha. Daksha means you are skilled. Daksha means skill. So that is how you find Daksha, Dakshin, Diksha, everything, all of these which is associated with skilling.
What do you do in Diksha? You pass on a skill from a guru to a Sishya. Isn't it? So look at the idea, concept of Deccan.
that is how
of course, it's a very anglicized word of Dakshin, Daksha, Daksha Prajapati. And you all know who is the daughter of, who is Dakshayani, all of you know.
Yes, we have finished. Yeah. So that is how, and therefore Deccan is the land which is also a name for Dakshin, and it denotes the skill. And this is the skill which is going to differentiate whether this punya, are you going to put it to use, and therefore your karma bhumi, are you going to put all these into action? Are you going to do this action, you need knowledge, and that is when you're going to have a good sustainable living. And this is also a land associated with Ganesha, Ashtavinayak. Ganesha stands for knowledge.
Jnana.
Jnana.
Ganapati, Jnana.
So
that's a context of connect. In this land especially of Maharashtra.
So quickly, the harnessing of this water with knowledge, which is when you will get all your economic prosperity, your abundance, all the goodness in the land, the peace and progress and all of that. And that is when, if you do it collectively and have a collective development, progress, then each of us is like a brick in building this nation. And we all are blessed to be an institution where we revere Sant Jnaneshwar, Sant Tukaram, and Vitthal. Shri Hari Vitthal is the ruling divinity for these people, these Sant. and it re-emphasizes that we all should become building bricks of this nation with this knowledge. And another beautiful point of how this knowledge and water, therefore, are twin catalysts for peace. And look at the beauty in this. Neither knowledge nor water can you ever trace their source.
Rishi Moolam, Nadi Moolam.
You
The
can
moolam
never
of
find.
both is always
Because they're always cyclical, perennial, and all pervading. So both are in a form of a Ganga. One is a Jal Ganga, one is a Jnana Ganga.
Gagan
And-
se Gagan.
and-
Ganga, Gagan se Gagan. It's a continuous eco cycle. It's an atmospherical cycle. Knowledge is also a cyclical like that.
And
Jnana.
it is this forum where we are honoring these two very important sons of our civilization, that we also remember that these points, because all these sons, whether you take Sant Jnaneshwar, Tukaram, Swami Vivekananda, and so many others, each of them have spoken about things like the Panchakosha, which all look spiritual and religious, but they all also, when they have delivered it to us, they have told us to look at the sciences and the physical aspects that have to go hand in hand to live in that Panchakosha state.
So Jnana to Vijnana, both. So both spectrums of the Dhanur have been compiled and joined by all the gurus of the land. So they're not only spiritual, but they also understand the Laukika, the whole concept of it. That's why the Panchakosha model of our civilization so beautifully fits in. And understanding this gives us our sense of confidence to all of us as professors, and we in turn share it with our students. This confidence, what does it do? Gives a sense of dare to all our students, so that they can dare to achieve in an inspirational world where they would like to, that going forward all over the world. That's when we become a Vishwaguru. That's the beauty of it. So all this data we have together in our BharathGyan website, which all of you are welcome to go through, our books and films for this. So once again, we'd like to thank this wonderful institution for calling us over for this very illustrious lecture series and being present here in this August gathering, this August stage, and sharing this knowledge with all of you.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Namaste.
Thank you very much for the words of wisdom. A big round of applause. It was indeed an enlightening and enriching speech. The relation between Varsha and Bharatvarsha, it was indeed enlightening. The journey from devil to divine. Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming all the way here and sharing your thought with us. And now, friends, it is the time that I call upon Dr. Iswar Krishnan Iyer, Dean, Ramcharan School of Leadership, MIT World Peace University, to propose vote of thanks.
Good evening, respected dais. Good evening, all. Today, I can tell you with authority that global mindsets in Indian roots, what is happening at a very, very global level and what is happening at a very, very Indian level, normally we don't get two things on the same day. But it's a huge privilege, pleasure, and honor that within 90 minutes, we could hear both of them on the same day from the same stage. The necessary should be taking that to the classroom immediately. How Abraham Maslow took Taittiriya Upanishad to create that 5-level hierarchy. What we have been teaching as Maslow's hierarchy actually belongs to the Taittiriya Upanishad. To that extreme, my friends from Chennai, Dr. Hari and his wife HemaHari, took us through the entire pantheon of the knowledge that takes us from India and to the global level. So, thank you so much, all of you. It's an absolute pleasure being with you.